The story of Elara Hayes, Brushstroke of Perseverance. Elara Hayes had always believed that art was her destiny. From the moment she could hold a brush, she painted worlds beyond imagination, portraits that seemed to breathe, landscapes that whispered stories, and abstract pieces that stirred emotions deep within the soul. She dreamed of seeing her work displayed in grand galleries, of standing in a room filled with people captivated by the emotions she poured onto the canvas. But the path to that dream was far from easy. For years she submitted her paintings to exhibitions, hoping for a breakthrough. But every time the response was the same: not the right fit. We appreciate your submission, but we have decided to move forward with other artists. Rejection after rejection, her confidence wavered. Sitting alone in her small studio, surrounded by canvases that no one seemed to want, doubt crept into her heart. Was she not good enough? She watched other artists announce their successful exhibitions, their sold-out showcases, their rising fame. The temptation to quit gnawed at her. Perhaps it was time to accept that her dream was just that, a dream. One evening, Elara visited her mentor, an old artist named Victor Laurent, whose paintings had once struggled to find recognition before gracing the walls of the most prestigious galleries. She poured out her frustrations, expecting words of comfort. Instead, Victor handed her a paintbrush and pointed to a blank canvas. "Paint me your greatest work," he said. Confused but determined, she painted. She used every technique she had mastered over the years, every color she loved, every brushstroke she believed defined her style. When she was done, she stepped back, waiting for praise. But Victor studied it with a critical eye and asked, "Tell me, Elara, what makes this different from the hundreds of other paintings in galleries today?" Her heart sank. She had no answer. "Talent alone is not enough," Victor continued. "You must understand why you're failing. Study the greats. Study the present. Find what is missing in your work and make the world need it." Elara took his advice to heart. For months, she immersed herself in art like never before, not just painting, but learning. She studied how master artists told stories with colors, how they evoked emotions with brushstrokes, how they created something the world had never seen before. She visited galleries, analyzed trends, and understood what art spoke to people in the present time. And then, with newfound clarity, she picked up her brush once more. This time, she painted without fear, without trying to fit into a mold. She let her emotions explode onto the canvas, blending techniques she had learned with the rawness of her own unique vision. When she finished, she knew this was different. This was hers. She submitted the piece to a small, upcoming gallery, a place she might have ignored before in pursuit of bigger names. Days later, an email arrived. "We are thrilled to showcase your work in our next exhibition." Elara could hardly believe it. The night of the show, she stood before her painting as strangers admired it, whispered about its depth, and praised its originality. From that small gallery, invitations trickled in. Other galleries noticed her work. Collectors became interested. Her name began to spread. With each exhibition, her confidence soared. Then, one day, an email arrived that changed everything. She was invited to exhibit her work internationally. Elara stood in a grand gallery in Paris, her art displayed among some of the most celebrated contemporary artists. Hundreds of people gathered around her paintings, discussing them, admiring them, feeling the emotions she had poured into them. As she watched, tears welled in her eyes, not from sadness, but from realization. Every rejection, every failure, every moment of self-doubt, it had all led her here. She had not failed. She had been growing. Her journey became a beacon of hope for struggling artists. She spoke openly about her failures, her struggles, and how close she had come to giving up. Failure is not the end, she told aspiring artists. It's just a step, a lesson, a push to evolve. The only true failure is giving up on yourself. And as she stood before her artwork, admired by the world, she knew her dream had not just come true. She had created it.